But it struck me as odd, and many other people as well. A month later, the BBC broadcast a Panorama programme, Saving Syria's Children, which contained more footage from the incident. And it was at that point that I began corresponding with the BBC using its complaints process, and I also began to conduct my own research. So first, here are the observations of a doctor. She says, "I've watched the Panorama BBC documentary, makes for interesting viewing, but I think the scene of the school children coming in with the burns was an act. They were able to sit down, be touched by others, even talk. This is not how a severe burn victim would present. Most victims would be screaming the place down in agony. Even after treatment and with all sorts of pain drugs, they still hurt and still scream. Most would have difficulties with their airways almost immediately. This shows them able to speak and breathing very well. No obvious signs of respiratory distress like coughing, shallow breathing, etc. Some are shown with skin hanging off, but the flesh beneath is not that convincing. It actually looks like more skin." So just bearing in mind those doctors' comments, I just want to play a section of that report again. Maybe Jack, you could help me. Just play it through a couple of times without sound and just ask yourself, is this real? So I then made contact with some investigators inside Syria, and they conducted some interviews and provided these statements. This first one is from a local resident. "We never had something like that, a napalm bomb that is. Never, never, nor did we ever hear about it." This from a Free Syrian Army commander. "We, the fighters of the Free Syrian Army in the northwest areas of the city of Aleppo, we declare that we were present in this region in August 2013, and we did not meet with any airstrike with the substance of napalm on al-Kubra or in any other region in the northwest Aleppo countryside." And of course, you would expect somebody in the Free Syrian Army to enthusiastically endorse anything which painted the Syrian government in a bad light. So what about the time of the attack? Well, as you can see, there's a 6-hour range, starting from midday, going all the way through to 6 p.m., all from supposedly credible, reliable sources. What's interesting about that is that the two-man team of Ian Pannell and Darren Conway, they're in the middle, they don't particularly seem to agree. Darren Conway, I don't know, between 3 and 5, something like that. Ian Pannell, more categoric at around 5:30 p.m. at the end of the school day. So a 6-hour range of when this incident is supposed to have occurred. I mean, is that plausible? Let's look at this, this woman. She's in the BBC report. She's at the gate here with her father, covered in the white cream. There is footage available of her, I found on YouTube, and this is at the start of the, she's at the scene of the attack, the alleged attack. She's walking towards the ambulance. She's walking upright, unaided. She climbs in. She has to get up 2 steps to get into the side door of the ambulance, and once inside, she takes an upright seat. I'll go through this again in a moment. Then she's filmed by the BBC. It's a 13-kilometre journey. She's then filmed by the BBC, at which point she apparently has to be stretchered out of the back of the ambulance by 5 men, apparently screaming in agony, having lost the use of her legs. She goes inside, has some white cream put on her face, and she's back outside on her feet, and indeed stamping her feet in rage. So, I mean, is this a plausible sequence of events? Just to let you know, the YouTube footage, although it's not very clear, all the analysis is on my blog. It's the same ambulance, it's the same people accompanying this woman, it's the same woman. There's no doubt about that.